the report came out from the New York Post, which is owned by the Murdoch family, and they own Fox, and Tom Brady is employed by Fox, so they've got the information that they've been reporting about Tom Brady's marriage. Is this fair game now to talk to? Are you allowed to, in a sports setting, talk to Brady about what's going off the field, and could that affect him on the field?
I wrote something about this a couple of weeks ago because CNN got involved in the Tom Brady personal life beat and reported that Tom and Giselle were living separately. It's like CNN's reporting, like what kind of strange world is this? But when you're talking about somebody who lives an inherently public life, and he was asked about it generally a few weeks ago, does it bother him? And he understands you can't have it both ways. There are plenty of guys in sports who have this attitude of, hey, everybody, look at me. Well, wait a minute. What the hell are you looking at? You can't have it both ways. If you want that attention and all the money that comes from it and all the adulation and praise, you can't pick and choose what people look at. And Brady gets it. And hey, if we're going to be obsessed over whether or not his finger is affecting his performance, his shoulder is affecting his performance, the guy disappeared for 11 days of training camp, and we never got a straight answer why. If there's some turmoil in his personal life that potentially affects his performance, that's relevant. The Buccaneers' entire team had to go to Miami last week, and they all stayed in a hotel with kids and pets. It was like Noah's Ark there, and they lost the game. And Todd Bowles, the head coach, was saying last night on the Buccaneers radio network, we couldn't focus. So, yeah, anything that keeps a guy from focusing on the task at hand is fair game, especially when it's one of the highest profile athletes / celebrities married to somebody who is extremely high profile. I think it does become fair game. And when the Murdoch family's newspaper is reporting this, when they're ready to pay him $37.5 million a year, I think that does make it fair.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because there were members in our profession who were critical of us prying into Tom Brady's life. I always go back to Tiger Woods. When Tiger was, whatever was happening off the golf course, until it affected him on the golf course, then I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to be fair. Brady missed practices. Now it becomes something more than that. And I asked Brady about this months ago when we were on a conference call and we got to ask him a question. And I asked him about, I was 50 when I decided to go home. I knew it was time to leave ESPN. I said, you got to eventually go home. Like, when do you, like that tug of war that you and Giselle have? And he kind of pushed it off and said, well, I don't know if they want me at home all the time. But then he did answer it later, and he got a little emotional about it because he's addicted. We all have addictions. He's addicted to football. And his wife said, I want you to come home. And he decided to come back and play football here. So it's a real thing. It's just, I don't know how forthcoming he's going to be in a press conference if they lose to the Falcons this weekend. Is that fair game? Like, it feels like the door is open. Can you ask him questions and still be keeping them in a sports-related manner?
I think it's all fair game at this point because he's already said he understands it goes with the territory. Yeah. I don't know that it's fair to ask him if he throws 3 interceptions against the Falcons, is the fact that you and your wife have hired divorce lawyers the reason for you throwing 3 interceptions. But I think it's fair game for general questions in his midweek press conference, which usually happens on Thursday, and just for analysis like, hey, this guy is dealing with stuff that no NFL player has ever dealt with. He has stretched the rubber band farther than anyone ever has. The tank is well below E. Everything with him is uncharted waters. And we don't know. He doesn't know. Nobody knows where it goes from here. And it is fascinating. And you just can't look. If you're going to have this huge social media platform and you're selling underwear and crypto, how in the world can you run and hide when there's some big deal like this that causes you to disappear for 11 days of training camp and no one will explain? And they try to act like it was all pre-planned and nobody believes it was pre-planned. It's just a reality show that is playing out for all of us to see. And it directly affects the performance of the player, which directly affects the performance of the team. And you got all the DraftKings and FanDuel commercials for people to bet. And they're making bets based upon how guys are going to perform. I think it is fair game to talk about it and wonder how it's going to affect him.